Situation in southern Israel. Al Jazeera's Charles Stratford is live in Sderot. Charlie, I mean, people in the south remain extremely tense with more rocket attacks and ongoing incidents of infiltration. Tell us what's been happening there.
Well, it was a relatively quiet night in terms of rocket fire from Gaza, Darren, until about half an hour ago, where we now have reports of a large barrage of rockets, it's understood, targeting areas in central Israel and the occupied West Bank. We're in Sderot, which is one of the towns that was infiltrated by Hamas, Palestinian fighters, actually repeatedly. In fact, yesterday there were at least 4 incidents in this area where there were infiltrations. That's according to the Israeli military. We understand that one of those incidents involved, in their words, terrorists, we call them Palestinian fighters, in vans that were found near a kibbutz close to here. We understand that an Israeli tank targeted at least one of those vans and a number of those Palestinian fighters were killed. There are also at least 2 other incidents in the town of Zikim, which, as I say, is relatively close to here. At least 3 Palestinian fighters killed in that incident. So the general feeling is that despite these claims being made by the military that they have towns like Sderot under control close to the Gaza border, there are still these huge concerns about infiltrations. I spoke to the spokesperson for the Israeli military yesterday, and he was pretty candid. He admitted that they are struggling and there is still a huge risk of Palestinian fighters getting through. So, yeah, the situation is calm here, but it can change very dramatically indeed, very quickly. Meanwhile, in the last hour or so, the mayor of this town, the mayor of Sderot, has been speaking to Israeli media, Israeli TV, and he's called on the government to, in his words, effectively flatten Gaza. He said that we have the legitimacy and the strength and support to go in, obviously alluding to a potential ground invasion. And he said that's the only way we're going to win this war.
OK.
So, yeah, all eyes on that new cabinet, and anything could happen in these areas at any time.
Yeah, and Charlie, you've been seeing this huge mobilization of Israeli troops and armor near the border. How are people there reacting as they see Israel's military response unfold?
The people are close to the border here. Pretty much anybody you speak to, they want what they call revenge. Initially, of course, you can imagine utter shock to these attacks, anger, and of course the trauma continues. But the people still living in these areas, despite advice to evacuate, they basically are banging the drums of war, and it's quite surreal to be in and amongst them when they visit the troops. They come to these areas handing out food and drinks. In some instances, there are even vans playing loud music, and you'll get Israeli civilians getting out and dancing, trying to boost the morale of the troops here. So there's this growing underlying feeling of determination and resolve. As I say, all focused potentially, if indeed it happens, on some ground invasion into Gaza.
All right, Charles Stratford live for us there in Ashdod. Charlie, thank you.